mean, it's big enough to give you everything you want. It is big enough to take away everything you have.
Welcome to the Spearhead Transmission.
With your hosts, m4a and Michael Ray.
This is Spearhead Transmission.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Spearhead Transmission. It's July 5th, 2018. It's time to break those chains. Water that tree. Can't believe I didn't know what day it was.
It's the day after Happy
Feels-
Treason's Day.
Feels like, did yesterday mess you up?
Yeah. Bad.
So yesterday, when I think of today, when I was at work on Monday morning, and I think about what I did over the weekend yesterday,
Yeah.
I feel like yesterday was 2 days worth of time off. I don't know if it's because I did so much shit yesterday or what, but
I was watching you the whole time. Whenever we were over there, I was like, I'm glad this is at his house because I
didn't
know
talk
how he feels.
I didn't talk to anyone. I was just like, all right, everyone eat.
Busier than a one-legged man in an ass.
Yeah. All right, everyone
Kicking
eat.
contest.
And then my kids asking me, like, hey, can we light fireworks? Can we do this? Can we light the house on fire? Like, yeah, get out. All right, come on. You know, Nick, where's this? Like, I don't know. What do you want to do with these bottles? Just fucking throw them in the garbage disposal, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was totally out of it. But it messed up my day today. I keep thinking it's Monday. I think everybody does. But, but yesterday I mowed the yard, and then my wife worked out in the morning. So while she was working out, I had all the kids in the backyard, and I was vacuuming the pool. And I told them, I was like, stand on the steps while I vacuum, because I'd put some clarifier in it, and it all settles all the shit on the bottom, so it clears it up, and you got to vacuum it up. So I vacuumed it all up, and then I scrubbed the walls. And so I guess because I did that, and then went inside, and then mowed the yard, and then went to the store, and then went and bought fireworks, and then, had family and stuff over, that I was like, it just felt like, it felt like a lot of shit in one day.
What time? What time? We left at 9:45.
I went to bed at 1 last night. But I was cleaning I was out there picking up bits of paper out of my yard, and I was like, just fucking leave it. Like, it's not that big of a deal. And I couldn't do it. Like, I had to pick up every scrap of paper.
I felt bad we left because I was going to help you clean. Then I was like, I was watching my daughter with that punk.
Yeah.
She was doing this. Standing there, trying to light fireworks, sleeping. You tell her it's time to go, and she was like, no.
I was waiting for someone to turn around and run one of those, punks right into someone else's stomach or something. Which I think I think I was the only one that got hurt. No,
Is this lighter hot?
I tested a lighter out, one of those burner lighters on my hand, which was, I seriously felt like that's the dumbest thing. That's like those guys that point that gun at their hand to see if the laser was going and shot himself in the hand. Dumb, man. Burnt my hand, put a light up to it because I couldn't see the flame. I was like, is this on? Like, yep, it's on.
Hot.
And then burnt my arm with the punk. But no, speaking of cleaning up, so today I was running on the path, and along the path there's a park.
Homeless people?
No.
Oh.
There weren't today. No homeless people. No one was out. Everyone's fucking
Too hot.
inside because it was hot as hell out. But I was running. I got to a part where that park is, and there was a bunch of Roman candles and stuff on the ground. I was like, man, that's fucked up. Like, why would you just leave your shit here? And we're running a little bit farther, and there's a tennis court. That tennis court.
Seriously? Full.
I cannot even tell you how much trash of fireworks was in there. I mean, it was covered.
How the fuck do people like just
walk off?
Walk off from that?
Where
does that come from?
Two things I thought of that is like, how do you just leave this? Like, I'm fine. I'll just leave it. It's not my problem. And two, dude, that had to be quite a show there. I mean, I'm telling you, the amount of stuff there.
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
the volume of fireworks.
Yeah, it was covered, completely covered with this. That had to be dangerous. I can't even imagine. I mean, there was no, I'm sure
30 kids out there.
Yeah, I'm sure there was no like, hey, I'm lighting this. Okay, go on, Johnny, light it. It was
Run,
lightning,
stepping on fountains.
Yeah, shit blasting you in the ass, going off behind you, mortars flying up in the air, like spark, fountains and shit. But I don't know. I got a real bad thing with people that are just gonna trash something. I'm all for it. Have a good time, or but fuck.
Well, if it's your house, if it's your place, fuck it. But you're out in the middle of a public place, and then you're just gonna do that.
Yeah, clean it up. Those remind me of the same people like when we used to go fishing all the time. I spend so much time cleaning up
After
when
them.
we're fishing, like worm containers and wrapping up line on my hand and throwing it. And, like, dude, why would you come out here and fish and just why would you just throw a beer can down?
Why do you?
And I'm not even a super like environmentalist, but
no,
like,
but it just makes sense, like
common decency.
Because if nobody cleaned it up, then you wouldn't get that. That spot would be fucked up.
Think about that. Like you're out there fishing, like that's nice. It's a good time. Oh, there's 3 Miller Lite cans, and there's a thing of old chicken livers that once you touch it, it's going to open the gates of hell for a few seconds, It's going to smell so bad.
Yeah.
And hey, there's a, limb line that's, left, nothing on it, just a hook dangling, like you take your kids there and go swimming or anything, there's bottles and hooks and shit everywhere. Like, just don't understand why people are such assholes.
It's the government's fault.
Maybe they're going to go over there tomorrow, and they just need to wait the day out. Maybe I'll run by there tomorrow and be all cleaned up.
That's what's going to happen.
Someone's going to.
No.
I tell you what's going to happen.
Somebody will clean it up, but it isn't going to be them.
It's going to, someone will.
The city will come through, and then there's added tax dollars.
Yeah. But fireworks, man, I got to say, like, fireworks these days they suck. Like,
yes.
I bought 5 rockets. 3 of them went into a tree about 10 feet up in the air. One of them made it, to cruising altitude or whatever you want to call it. And I think one outside, that one you lit almost blew up in my front yard.
It was a big rocket, too.
I was holding it, and I was like, man, it feels like this plastic thing should be better connected and light it. The base fins don't even take off. The top flies up in there, spinning in the air, and then blows up.
Those other little rockets were good, though, that Nora had.
Those were awesome.
They shot way up there.
Were you there when the Roman candle got out?
Yeah.
That was good.
The hell?
That was good.
Almost fired it all into those little kids.
She was embarrassed about it, but fuck, I've done that. I dropped one, but the only thing is that Roman candle had more oomph behind it than the others. So it was like if you could have dropped one, it could have been like the crackle of balls or something.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah,
but they're shit. They don't. I didn't even
climbing panda.
Yeah,
that sits there and like
I got took on that one. The lady was like, "Oh, those climbing pandas are some of my favorites." I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be cool."
You know what was my favorite when I was a kid?
What?
The tanks. And then, did you ever have the aircraft carriers with the buzz bees on them?
But I liked the bees. So I loved the bees.
Yeah, so you had I'd have
those
the
fucking
tanks.
bees. They don't sell those anymore.
There was a case in that family thing I got, but they were shit. They fell over on the side to shut sparks out. They didn't.
Dude,
yeah.
I like the old ones that did the.
So I used to take those tanks and point them right at each other, and then light them, and then let them spark, and then
catch on
try
fire.
to blow each other up. Yeah, and then the aircraft carriers or whatever, like in my head when I was trying to buy it, it's like someone put olive oil on my face or something. But must be that Johnny B street cream.
It's the street cream.
In my head, it would be sitting there. My parents would be like, "What do you want?" Like, an aircraft carrier. And in my head, I'm like, "Oh, we're gonna put it in a lake, and it's gonna like go flying across the lake, and then the jets are gonna take off of it, and it's gonna be shooting." We would put it in the dog dish and light the fucking thing. And it's just as lame as you can imagine, But I always wanted those boats every time I saw them. Like how bad of an idea is that anyway to put a firework in the water because something's gonna get wet that shouldn't be wet, and it's gonna do the.
Done.
Yeah. I was awake.
Yeah, there's nothing that blows up anymore though. Like
No,
it doesn't. There's no
sideways fused things. If you get a sideways fused firecracker, you knew it was some legit shit. Like, don't hold that. That'll take your fingers off. Do black cats exist anymore? Remember black cats?
I looked all over yesterday for like firecrackers.
Yeah.
I didn't see any, but I was I was late to the stand. I was there at like 2 something in the afternoon, so it was pretty slim pickings.
There was a pack of mega crackers in that family box.
Did you light them?
Yeah, and it went off in my face because my cousin's kid was there with me, and I said, "Hey, man, those fuses look like they might be a little fast." And I mean, before that, I finished saying the T of the word "fast." I think they all blew up, and we turned around. Like,
well, they didn't even.
I thought they didn't even all go off. I guess they did. I don't know. It was.
See?
But black cats, remember you could get like rolls of black cats?
Fuck yes. You could get boxes of black, like a
I'm gonna look and
big
see.
block of black cats.
It used to drive me insane when my dad would be like, we'd be out there lighting black cats one at a time.
Yeah, and he'd come out and throw all of them out there and laugh.
Hold the top of it and let them drop off. And then, they're like, watch this. Like,
It's a waste.
What are you doing?
But you know why he was doing that? The whole reason. You could look back now and you're like, man, your dad was a smart man. He didn't want to be out there all fucking
all
day.
night. Yeah.
He lighting one firecracker off at a time.
Yeah. I mean, think how long it would have taken. Because I'd go buy the like 200 round packs and start unraveling them. We put them in a coffee can so you could pull them out one at a time. Fingers would be look like aluminum on the ends.
Yeah.
Look like that Moon Man from McDonald's commercials. What was that guy's name? Joe Cool. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about, though, right? The silver faced Moon Man. But yeah, we'd have those, and we'd have those yellow M60s with the red letters on it that say like "Warning, you'll fucking die if you hold this." Blowing up.
You could throw those in water and just blow some shit up.
Throw them in water, and you could. We'd bury them in ant piles and blow up ant piles. And the other thing used to have those bottle rockets.
Yeah, like no bottle rockets anymore.
Bottle rockets with the.
How come? Because you can buy the regular rockets. It's no different.
When I was a kid, I remember we got a case of them somehow. My mom's like, "These are illegal." Like we had heroin or something. Like bottle rockets are illegal. Like,
don't tell anybody we got.
I was like, "Why rockets? Why are they illegal?" And like, well, I think they lit a bunch of people's houses on fire. Like, I think back of that. Like, how the fuck are people's houses catching on fire left and right from fireworks, I mean, we had a pasture catch on fire from one of those buzz bombs, flew out there and landed in some tall grass, but, like, people's roofs aren't made out of tall grass.
Yeah,
like,
this is thatch roofs.
Tar,
They burnt down a whole bunch of tribe members' houses. They're making their houses with thatched roofs.
So black cats, black cats still exist. Dude, the picture's cool. That cat.
It's the same picture, right? You
Yeah.
can change it.
No, it's exactly the same.
Bottle rockets, though, they
weren't. Find a retailer.
They were illegal? Oh, they were illegal here. You had to go to Missouri to buy them. That's right, because my dad would come back with them from Missouri. He used to buy the big bastards, the Texas pop bottle rockets.
It's the second entry on Google. Why are bottle rockets illegal?
Yeah, they're listening to us.
Bottle rockets are banned under the Explosives Act, thus making importation, possession, transportation, storage, or manufacturing illegal in Canada. Well, I don't fucking live in Canada.
Mm-hmm. When we were on tour one time, we were coming back from, I think we were in like Alabama, and we were driving. And we had made a few stops across the way, and we were headed into Canada. This is in the winter. I don't even know how we had fireworks still. This tour was long, I guess. We still had fireworks in our car, in our van, right? And so we go across the border, and they say, "Do you have anything to declare, or anything that you're going to be selling as you go across?" Right, all this stuff, right? And we didn't think that all the merchandise. We just gave them our waiver form, right, that we thought we had, and they're like, "Okay, well, are any of these, the things that you're selling, are they made in X countries?" And we were like, "Oh, well, I don't know." So they pulled us into a bay, Dude, they searched us and searched us. Then they searched the whole van, made us take all the shit out of the van, and told us that we couldn't sell it in Canada. So basically, you're not going to make any money in Canada on your tour other than what, you know. And then they said, look what we found. And they broke us all in rooms. And it was fireworks. And they were like, they were making a huge deal out of these fireworks. And they had us separated and asking, where did you get these? Why do you have these? What do you plan to do with these? And I was like, the guy was telling the guy, was like, they're fireworks. I mean,
yeah.
There's some glow snakes and shit in there. I don't even know. Like, what? I don't.
Maybe if you
and he would
celebrate independence from a tyrannical country, you know what the fuck we're talking about.
That's what the whole thing is because they're still part of Great Britain, right?
So this
they still bow down to the Queen.
This article on Google says, "Are your fireworks legal? Check them before you light them." This was on. This is in Greensboro, North Carolina. Mm-hmm. Fireworks will be on full display this Independence Day, but before you set some off in your neighborhood, you should check if they're legal. North Carolina has some of the toughest restrictions on fireworks in the country. We prefer you don't use consumer fireworks at your home. We want you to go to a professional shoots, Captain Naomi Dixon said. If you do shoot off fireworks, Dixon said, be safe and only use what's legal. Anything that explodes and leaves the ground is illegal and could cost you up to $500 in fines if you're caught.
Fuck.
Illegal. Firecrackers, ground spinners, Roman candles, bottle rockets, and mortars. Legal. Snake and glowworms.
I knew those are the best.
Smoke devices, noisemakers, and sparklers. Sparklers are legal in North Carolina, but can be dangerous. Sparklers burn anywhere from 1,800 degrees to 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit. So that brings me to this first article I listed on our set list here is this Philadelphia man, partially blinded by fireworks, shares his harrowing story to warn 4th of July revelers, right?
Okay.
So when you grew up, I mean, you lit off fireworks, right?
Yeah.
Did
Blew the
stupid
shit out of
with them.
myself.
Yeah, burnt yourself, did dumb
Laid
stuff.
on them on accident.
I still crack up when I think of we were coming home from my friend's house when I was like in 3rd or 4th grade, and I could see my buddy Tim coming down the street on a bike, and then he's laughing, right? And he stops, and then he starts coming after me again. I could see smoke coming off of him, and next thing I know, he's on his bike and he's shooting at me with a Roman candle. So I take off running, and I was like, "Stop!" You know, and they're like flying by me and everything, and It runs out of like its shots, and he throws it on the ground, and he's dying laughing, right? And I come around the corner, and as soon as I come around the corner, there's this cop's coming, and the cops it was just luck. The cop comes around, and then Tim like waves at him, and he drives right by me. But I'm like, we were shooting those at each other, shooting those Saturn missile batteries.
You run with them, pointing them at each other.
Hold the damn thing. Yeah.
Not hitting shit, but they're just
flying everywhere. Blowing up right in your face. I mean, and I knew then, and I know now that fireworks. I mean, there's a risk associated with lighting up fireworks, right? Like I don't expect it to be a riskless thing. Like I don't know. Like I've thought about giving my kids, safety glasses, but I always forget. Like I don't want to say I'm not trying to be safe while I'm doing it, but I do know it's just like anything else. Like this fucking running gun we're going to do. And I mean, yeah, there's a chance that people can get hurt. Yeah. I mean, you drive to work every day. You can get hurt. So this article from Fox News says, Philadelphia man partially blinded by fireworks. I already said that, right? So this guy says, this is from Super Bowl Sunday. Okay. I guess. Late night celebrations quickly turned into a nightmare for the 25-year-old Hart. Joined tens of thousands of Eagles fans on the street of Philadelphia after the NFL championship on February 4th. He was helping a young woman set off a firework when it malfunctioned and blew up in his face. It was a shock once it happened. It took me to the ground. I knew I was blind instantly. So it fucked him up, right? Face was bleeding. He was blind in one eye from it. But then he comes out after that and he's like, I didn't realize how, dangerous they were. He says in a lot of ways he was lucky. The other eye wasn't affected. He could have ended up being blind in both eyes. No, he's saying he wanted to share a story because he didn't want anybody else using. I don't believe anyone should use them if they're not a professional. Even smaller fireworks like sparklers can cause lots of damage, he says. People can even lose an eye over champagne corks. Always use a towel when popping that cork off. Like, I mean, what are you supposed to sit at home?
Baby-proofed his house.
Yeah, he's supposed to sit at home in a padded room just so you don't get hurt. Like, dude, I hate that happened. He's saying a recent change in law, which allows locals who are 18 or older to purchase consumer-grade fireworks such as Roman candles and bottle rockets make him even more worried. We're concerned more access to greater fireworks to leave even more severe injuries. Like, yeah, dude, people are going to get...
So I got a question. So because of this accident, now he's...
Anti-fireworks.
Now he's a
expert.
So he did... So before that, he just thought there's shit blowing up. Things are flying out of it, and he thought it was completely safe. Like, oh...
I don't know.
If I shot you in the eyeball right now with one of those Nerf guns,
yeah, you could. I mean, you could.
I could blind you. It's a Nerf gun, but I could blind you.
Yeah.
What is it?
I mean, anything could happen at any time. I mean, it's all how you manage it, right? Like it. I don't know. I hate every year, they come on the news and they're like, leave it to the professionals. Like I've seen professional
blow them
fireworks
up.
things where they start shooting shit into the crowd and people are taking off running with blankets and knocking over picnic baskets and kids and stuff. Like there's an inherent risk when you're watching fucking gunpowder ignite, right? Mm-hmm. But I mean, that's not that's not the allure to me or anything, but I don't know. I mean, it's gonna be loud. I like the loud ones. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. It always gets me as like, all right, mom or news, whatever. Like I'll be fucking careful. Like, what are we supposed to do?
Yeah.
Well, just don't do anything. Okay. Yeah. All right. Thanks for that. And then here, or in my town, you can buy the permit to where you can light them off in the city limits. And I mean. You were there last night. It sounds like fucking Somalia. Mm-hmm. And I mean, shit blown up everywhere. Big stuff, little stuff. Fucking those. Mm-hmm. And I still want someone to explain to me how you can go to. Because when I was a kid, we'd be lighting off fireworks in the backyard. I'm terrified that the cops or the fire department was going to show up. Terrified. Mm-hmm. My grandma would let us. My parents wouldn't. They'd let us light off smoke balls and sparklers and basically the boring stuff that left in that list. If it didn't make noise, we could light it off. And but my grandma would let us do whatever the hell we wanted. We had fucking spinning wheels of shit flying up in the air and UFOs and flower pots full of this garbage burning on fire in the backyard. Burnt the fucking hands burnt. I mean. Mm-hmm. All kinds of stuff. And then, but the whole time I'm like, man, the cops are going to come, we're going to go to jail. So now you can buy a permit so that I guess that the cops show up. You don't, just show them your papers. And you're like, hey, here's my papers for celebration of, independence from a tyrannical government. So, but I still don't get, like, if someone can explain to me, like, okay, what am I paying for? Well, you're paying for a permit. A permit. So
if offset the cost if I burn down this guy's house over here.
So if I have a permit and my neighbor to have a permit and he's in my yard, does it cover him or is it just me? Is it me personally? Does everyone that's
like
my
fishing
house?
License
or
fireworks license?
I'm like, well, okay, so I just say it's the one for the party. Like, okay, well, there's the party one. So where does this money go? Like, what fund does it go to? Like the general fund? Does it go to like the streets? Does it go to education? Like, what is it? Where's the money go? I want to know that, and I want to know how it is any different, especially if like me and my neighbor have separate parties, right? They got their own party, and I got mine, and we're lighting them off. We got a permit, and he doesn't. And the cops show up. I whip out my paper, and he's like, "Oh, all right." He goes over to a guy next door, like, "Got your paper?" "Nope." "All right, let me get you a ticket." And because you didn't pay the $20, like, can you slip him a 20 then? Like, hey, we can make this all go away if I pass you $20 right now.
You know where your 20s go to? It goes to pay for gas and staff so that they can drive around and bust the people that don't have the permit that we said you had to have.
So it's nothing more than a bribe. All you're doing is bribing the local government so that you can celebrate independence. And that's the most backwards thing, and I can't believe people are all for it. Like, oh, it's great, we can.
I think we did it right. We did it all with civil disobedience last night. That's exactly what 4th of July is about, right?
Yeah, I mean,
you treasonous bastard.
I thought too when I was cleaning up my stuff. Like if the cops come out, like, hey, were you lighting fireworks over here? No, man.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I'm out here, kids. I gotta clean this up. I wish you could catch the people that did this in my yard.
That came to my yard.
I'll see you guys later. Let me know if you catch them. I mean, seriously, like doesn't seem right. Like they should either be illegal or not. Like not. Hey, you can pay a permit, and
Well, they're slowly trying to make it illegal. Like soon it'll be, like maybe we'll come up with digital fireworks. Everybody can light fireworks on their app.
They had, I guess, out west where they're having wildfires and shit. They said in lieu of fireworks, they're going to use drones. So they got colored drones. Like like what they did in the Olympics. I guess. Like that. I mean, I like going to fireworks shows, I guess, but I mean, it's like, oh yeah, cool, all right. But I like the
explosion. That's what. The sonic booms are my all-time favorite. Always
when it's just a big white flash. I like the ones where you see a white flash and black smoke, and you're like, "Here it comes!"
And then you feel it.
Yeah, those are my favorite, especially when there's a lot of them. Cool, but yeah, fireworks.
All right,
so we got the run and gun next week. Are you running Friday or Saturday? You don't know.
I don't know. I don't know when.
I'm running Friday because I will not be there Saturday, unfortunately. But I'm a little nervous. I've been running in the heat. I mean, I've been running every day since.
Are you going to run next week? I don't think I am.
Yeah,
I think
I'm going to do the same. I'm going to run up till the day I go.
Really? I think I'm not. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stretch.
I'm not going to do squats.
And probably.
I'll probably take the day off before. Squats. I'll probably take Thursday off. But you're doing a 15K, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just doing 10, but it's fun. I mean,
I'm not doing any specialty 15K though, right? Like
I don't know.
I didn't sign up for that. I just signed up to do a regular 15K.
Like you got to carry a blunderbuss and a cutlass. On 5 of it.
Doing the Pirates 15K.
You got your powder satchel.
Mm-hmm.
What?
You got your powder horn.
That's it'll be good. I was reading something today on a firearms class that was being provided somewhere, and they're like, a lot of guys were running, subpar rifles and had a bunch of shit malfunctioning with their optics and flashlights coming off, and I was like, fuck man, I need to run one of these hardcore classes so I can get my make sure my rifle's good. But you do these every 6 months or less, and I mean, you figure out all your little kinks, right? Like to the point that you've got a special Superman suit you're going to use.
Well, no, I haven't done that one yet, but I am happy with my carrier stuff, right? Like this is the third year that I've used this setup, or 4th year that I've used it, and I've modified it. You can see my Velcros, my mini Velcros on there, and it's modified to the way that I like it now, and it fits right. It doesn't bounce, because when you do those things, you'll notice things like there was something last year that I hated about the way that worked, and it was a pouch that I had on my right side of my rig, right?
Yeah,
my rig, right side of my
tactical.
Yeah, no, I want to call it
tactical purse.
Of my costume, right side of my costume, that would bounce just a little bit, and whenever I pull my pistol out, sometimes it would be in the way, right? Mm-hmm. So I've moved it, and I feel like I put it on there, and I feel like the weight distribution makes sense, right? Like, okay, my pistol's on my right hip, so I can have X amount of magazines over here and X amount of magazines over here, and it'll kind of offset as we go, and because I'm right and left-handed, kind of makes sense. Okay, I can always move the pistol magazines will always be on the left side, and the rifle magazines be on the right side.
If you think back, like the first time we ever did this, and
Well, that's what I was going to tell you. Look at that right there.
Is that what that vest is?
Yeah. It's
Solid
black.
black.
Solid, like wearing a garbage sack.
I wore a vest 1 year, and I never
Green one, right?
Yeah, and I'll never wear it again because it was like you say, you zip it up and it's nylon, and it was like wearing a sack. Yeah, it was bad.
Oh, I wonder if if that were white, would it be better?
I don't think so. I think it's the material blocks the air or something. I don't know, but it's a good. I mean, I know we always talk about it, but if you haven't done it, you should definitely try one. The Pawnee seems to sell out within like 3 days now.
Yeah, like 3 minutes.
Yeah, so if you ever want to get on one, you need to
get in early.
quick. Yeah, or talk with the run organizers and see if they can alert you when the next one's coming up. I don't know if they have a pre-announcement or anything like that, but it's a good race. You get to test your equipment, and like you say, Mike's got his customized now for.
I mean, it's not pretty.
Yeah, but it works, right?
Yeah, it works for me. I'm getting kind of sad because some of the Cordura, that's what that's called. The Cordura on the back where the camelback thing is getting worn out because the rifle rubs on it, but it fits just right now, and I'm concerned that when it wears out, I guess I can patch it.
Yeah, it'll look cooler if you patch it. Look like that shit you can get from the Aurora surplus store that's got a patch of nylon on it.
It's all new.
Yeah, it's sewn on there like a circular, like, who the fuck sewed this on there? Dab a tar on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've changed my rig.
Well, that's the idea, though, is you're trying to get it to be exactly what you want, right?
Yeah.
And you want it to be realistic, too, right? You don't, like, obviously, now, as far as, like, my suit that I'm wearing, it's all white. What is that stuff? Spandex? Tights?
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about? The men's running tights?
Yeah. I guess it's spandex.
Yeah,
Lycra.
So it's whatever it is, Under Armour stuff, but it's the cool stuff. So I'm experimenting this year with it, right? Like, I'm going to see how it works. If it works, well, obviously, if you had to run a long ways, that would be ideal. But I'm not.
We checked the weather here too. It's supposed to be 97's the high.
That's not as bad as last year. So
it was over 100. I mean, that's still. They said
it was like 111 was when you ran. Was 111 was the heat index on that day, on the Friday, and it was 110 on the heat index on the day that I ran. But I ran an hour earlier than you guys did. I started at like 9:30.
And you got the words of wisdom of, if you think you're running fast,
by the Titan,
or too slow,
slow
down.
Exactly. And I think that method still holds true even with this 15K, right?
Yeah.
Like, just go out and try to. With that 20K, it was almost scientific. I know that sounds crazy, but the running part was like, okay, just keep steady. When I saw you guys, it terrified me. I was like, I don't even want to attempt this tomorrow. And then I was like, okay.
You were there that night. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I said, I was contemplating saying, no, I'm not going to do it. And then I was like, fuck, I can't not do it.
Yeah.
They all did it. I got to do this 20. And then I was like, I'm just going to go. And if I fail, I fail. But at least I did it,
Well, that's what got me last year is when I came up to that stage and Al sitting there and he said something and he was like, well, you want another shirt? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, everyone's quitting. He's like, me included or something like that. And I was like, what? And he's like, I'm too hot. I was like, He made
a critical error, though, I think, in his
water
assessment. Yeah, when he showed up to my stage and he was like, he had one bottle of water and I was like, that all you have? And he's like, I'm good, man. I got this out the creek. Something like that. I was like, oh.
There have been years in the past that I'd only carry one water bottle.
But on a 10K.
Yeah.
And it was still a pretty bad.
Yeah, by the time I got to the end, I was needing some refreshments. But I don't know. I mean, it all depends on the weather. I mean, between now and then, the weather can change. It could be one of those things.
Be 111 or it might be 85.
Yeah.
If it's 85, it'll be a quick day.
Yeah, because if it's 80s, I'm not carrying water. I mean, I'd carry one bottle like before. But it seems to me like what I've noticed in the past, because I would always carry water in Pecos because it's so hot down there. Like, I don't really notice the water weight at all. I know it's there.
Yeah, I don't notice. I mean,
and
it's
actually,
there, but it balances me out.
Yeah, and I also think now, I don't know if it's just from running this stuff so much, like I don't even really notice the added weight of my gear anymore.
It's all about where it's at for me. Like, if it's right on the front, it kills me. Like, my lower back gets real sore. It's like I got huge titties.
Yeah.
And they just don't. Oh, no, dude.
They're getting hot.
Yeah, I can tell when you're raising up like that. But the lower back is what gets me. And so I figured out if I can put everything closer to the sides and less weight on the front and then weight on the back, it just makes more sense to me.
When I first take off, I have my rifle on my back, and then when I get to this...
God.
When I get to the areas where it's like one stage and I'm like, okay, there's like, maybe a quarter of a mile. The next one, I leave it just in front of me.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, and I just run with it in front of me. And
Even with that sling?
Yeah, I usually leave.
And then just tighten it up?
Yeah, I'll tighten it up, and I usually just rest my hands on it, and I'll run with it like that. And then when I get back on like long distance, I'll slide it back on the back and then tighten it down. And then I know I'll hook it on to where it goes down between one of the mag pouches, so it stays almost upright, But yeah, it's a lot different than, like we're saying, a long time ago. Like I used to
running with a single point sling and bouncing on your neck.
Yeah, single point,
choking you out.
Single point sling, and I'll just carry this magazine in my hand. That way I have it ready. And God, my arms are on fire,
But it's impressive to me to see people like Al, for instance, like the way that he does it, like because he seems unchanged, right?
Yeah.
Like the way his method.
But he had done a couple of them before in Pecos before we did those ones down in Henrietta with him. So he had some experience of running his stuff, and he was training that way with,
Yeah.
I just noticed he's been using lighter rifles when he wants to win things instead of that
giant
block of wood and metal. But
I don't know. It's definitely a test, and it's a fun test to do. I mean, I highly recommend you do it.
I tell you what gets me is that Alonzo, he runs with carries that rifle.
Yeah, the whole time.
Because he said his drill sergeant said that he, never going to sling. Like I was like, "You're joking, right?" He's like, "No, man. How you gonna need, or if you need it, how are you gonna get it off your back?" Like, damn it, I'm not running like that though. Because I saw him take off and run with it. And I mean, it carries the damn thing the whole time.
Well, yeah, like in the infantry or back in the day, I don't know about now, but yeah, but it was always carried. Like me, it was always carried
Low.
in low ready or whatever. Always like the road march. Only time you slung it was chow slinging it, or whenever you're doing a parade or something, and it's even more miserable because you had to hold it like this, In
the Navy, you fucking leave it sitting in a chair. Or I still crack up when I think of that dude pulling up on that watch we had. My buddies over with that shotgun, and he's got his head resting on the barrel. Oh God, it's horrible, man. But I guess so bored or not even thinking, just like like you would if you had on a baseball bat. Like, hey, man, we gonna cook some chicken here in a little bit or what? Anyway, so check out Pawnee Run and Gun. It's okrunandgun.com, I believe, is the website. But,
I think you can Google it like that.
Google it. Summer's full, but there'll be one in the winter again. So
which it has. I've never been there when it's been extreme, like cold.
No, I want one.
I seen one where you guys were cold.
I've been there when it's cold, but I want to be in one. I'd like to do two. I'd like to be one where it's pouring down rain the whole time, like while I'm running, and then I'd like to do one where it's fucking just snow, like blowing snow.
You know what we need to do?
Like
we
that
need to
level
make
line.
friends with somebody that lives in Wyoming, and then they just go out and
I think there's one up there. Like these things are starting to pop up all over
Wyoming?
the place now.
I know there's a long range challenge thing that they do in Wyoming.
Huh? I don't know.
And it's it's one of those things where I don't know, but
Fat Man Ballet.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
I just want it to be like that level on James Bond, GoldenEye, that snow level. Doom, 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 doom. You know where you like get a snipe all those
didn't
dudes.
see that one.
That's a good level. Mm-hmm. People walking around out there in snow camouflage. Dude, I think I'd like take a white sheet and cut it up and like
just do the
so
like
if I died out there, no one would find me.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is Nick? Damn, he's in a wedding dress. Or it's a white sheet. Oh, so check it out. Try it out. Don't be intimidated. Let's play a commercial.
Science. Oh, commercial.
Yeah.
Hi, Eeyore here. If you like the bullshit you've been listening to, be sure to check out Spearhead Transmission on iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, TuneIn Radio, and the podcast source. Subscribe to their YouTube channel and watch them weekly for some reason. Also, like and share their Facebook page. Check out their website at spearheadpodcast.com and get all of your Spearhead merchandise there. If you have hate mail, please send it to xspearheadx@yahoo.com. They always appreciate hearing from you. Thank you for your support and enjoy the rest of the fucking show.
From my heart and from my hand, why don't people understand my intention?
Oh, we didn't even open it.
Oh, whoops!
You're in charge.
You know what I was thinking? I forgot to tell you this.
Did you read that or not?
No, I did not read this.
Well,
Go ahead. If now where we're sitting on this podcast, if we were some way able to get $1 from every time this was downloaded, we could buy a nice house.
Yeah, we could buy a nice house.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah,
we've still tried to monetize this thing.
It ain't happening, man. Maybe we should have every time somebody listens, they should just give us $1.
Yeah,
That ain't
it's a honor system.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
If you there was 500 listens today.
Yeah, I don't see $500.
$500. The bots would be broke. All of our bots.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
All right, so this is it says Einstein's theory of relativity proven right in huge space experiment. Yeah, independent. So, all right, first thing I have a
is it an article or a video?
Yeah, article. Go right up there. Okay. Gravity works as expected, even at the biggest scales. A new study has found the research proves Einstein right at the almost unimaginably huge scale and at the most stringent test yet. All right, so right there, first thing with that sentence, what the fuck would you think if he's got a theory of relativity? You got to think that it's got to apply to the grandest scales and to the smallest scales, right?
You know what I get from that is like, okay, yeah, we're right. Mm-hmm. I wasn't sure, but yeah, we are.
Well, listen. Yeah, exactly. Now listen. Here we go. Einstein's theory of general relativity says that all objects fall the same way despite their mass or their composition. That means, for instance, that an apple and a cannonball falling from a tower will reach the ground at the same time, which is bullshit. They've got to say that in a vacuum, right? You can't say that right now. I can tell you that for a fact. Drop this.
I've seen that on Bill Nye. Yeah, they hit the ground at the same time.
They don't. What if I drop a feather in this? They're not going to hit at the same time. It's not possible. Give me something even lighter. Well,
no one can see what we're doing.
All right. Well, I'm going to drop a remote
and a pack of chew.
Didn't fall. It didn't hit at the same time.
There's something.
No, it's got to happen in a vacuum where there's no friction, because if I drop a glider out of the sky,
like an Auric,
right,
upright,
yeah, no, not
Dyson.
Those. If I drop that hat, and this bottle of water from the ceiling, they're not going to hit the floor at the same time.
I thought I saw a science experiment where they did that shit though.
It's just like anything else, like
like a baseball and a bowling ball.
no. But okay, let's think about it real quick. All right, so I've got
No, I know what you're saying.
I've got
if you
a
throw
I got
a
a
pack of loose leaf paper out a window, it's gonna flutter around.
because there's friction in no matter
wind.
what in this room. As much as we don't think that, as much as we don't feel it, other things do, right? Because there's resistance within the room, right? Like was oxygen and stuff like that. They all have mass, right? Those particles all have mass, right? The atmosphere has mass. Otherwise, why would pressure be different if you're at this elevation as opposed to this elevation, right? The pressure that you feel.
Yeah.
So that pressure has to be removed. That's why I don't like. How can you say that?
But an apple and a cannonball, I bet they would hit at the same time.
But they're saying despite their mass or their composition.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
We'd have to look into that.
look if I drop a feather.
Keep reading. I'm gonna look it up.
All right. So it says. So people are screaming right now, trying to tell me, but so I can't.
saying-
I got to scroll down.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
there.
here. All right. Okay, but some worried that might not always be true in cases of extreme gravity. It was thought.
Okay,
and-
I said I typed in "do obja" and it says "do objects fall at the same rate?"
Damn, dude.
All right.
You didn't even say it. You just typed "do ob."
Yeah.
Okay. Some are worried that not always be true. In case of extreme gravity, it was thought an alternative kinds of gravitational behavior might be observed. By testing the theory in perhaps the most extreme environment possible in a massive 3-star system, the theory still applies. So now we have to think about that. A 3-star system, right? Because now stars, the sun has a larger gravitational pull, right? Is this correct? Which is a star. The sun has a larger gravitational pull than the Earth,
Yeah.
right? Otherwise, now we're going to go through this whole shit again that we've done on this podcast a number of times.
You're right. In the vacuum.
It's got to be in a vacuum, right? It can't.
For instance, if you were to drop a feather and a tiny piece of metal, both weighing the same at the same time in the air, the metal would hit the ground first. However, you're able to do the same thing in a vacuum. They would both hit the deck at the exact same time.
So here, this is, and the reason why we say that is because think about it like this: there are 3 phases of matter? Isn't that what it's called?
What the fuck? Hold on, look at this. The Roman Titus Lucretius, 99 BC to 55 BC, wrote in his poem, quote, on the nature of things, De Rerum Natura, about objects falling at the same rate in the void. The fuck did they make vacuum chambers back in Roman BC time periods?
Yeah, I don't know. That's crazy. That is crazy. It's aliens. Anunnaki. So, all right.
This would seem as a precursor to Sir Isaac Newton's concept, but it says but the void has no power of resisting anything at any time whatsoever or at any place. Its nature is to give way, and so it does. It follows that the void is passive and everything falls to it at equal speed, whatever the weight.
And it should.
Yeah.
Right, because if we think about the 3 stages of matter, right, or 3 phases of matter, you've got solid, liquid, and gas, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's everything. I mean, this
It's like a bad day on the toilet.
Yeah. It's the laws of the toilet.
Yeah.
Solid, liquid, and gas. I'm just saying that, like, if the temperature was right in this room, the gases in this room could be frozen. Correct?
Whew, yeah.
I would prefer that at this point.
In here.
So then things, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So you know what? I mean, I'm not trying to derail your thing here, but I was
You self-conscious about that now?
I was just thinking while I was reading that back in fucking 55 BC, this dude, what was his name? Titus Lucretius is sitting around writing poems about fucking voids and vacuums, and we have the ability right now in our hands to like study and gain all this data on shit like this. It's happened throughout the time, and no one's sitting around writing fucking poems about things falling in a vacuum. They're worried about if someone's clothes are fucking cultural appropriation, or if someone said something that was deemed as racist.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Pathetic.
It is a good point.
Anyway, go ahead.
Oh no, I just wanted to point out that I guess in this article, so just between you and I, immediately we were both like, and I asked somebody else too at work. I showed them this, and they were like, "Oh no, it's the fault." And I'm like, dude, you can't put an article out and expect people to know. Like, people be out there now just testing that shit, being like dropping bowling balls off their house, and not have watched. I know what it is that you watched. You watched Mr. Wizard.
Yeah,
it was Mr. Wizard.
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude! We both pulled it out at the same time. Mr. Wizard.
Mr. Wizard was an asshole.
He was an asshole.
Dan, stick this broomstick through this paper towel rod with sand in the bottom. Harder, you piece of shit. Can't
suck
punch.
that bowl or that golf ball through the hose.
What do you mean you can't do it? Well, it's mash, you dumbass. Fucking kids, get out of my house.
And to that same point, what you already made it earlier, that they still don't know what the fuck gravity is.
No, they're still studying it. Like, oh yeah, it's right.
It's from spinning.
It's Einstein's theory of relativity, right? You know, that's the shit with the bucket. You remember? It's on that podcast.
We don't have to go any further on that one.
Oh, I just get dizzy. You get dizzy bouts now that you get older. You just out of nowhere get like a little
lightheaded.
Yeah.
I guess I used to get I used to get blank stares. You know what I'm talking about? Stand up too fast.
Yeah, that's like a natural part of my existence. Well, this is fucking locked up.
Oh no! Hit X over here. Oh, we fucked ourselves up.
Well, this thing's flashing. I can hear that computer from up here.
It's over there. Let's see. You got it on your phone?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I don't know, man. Gravity's so funny too. If you ever ask people about it, like, yeah, man, I know about gravity. Like, you do? Like, explain it to me. Well, you know, it's the water in the bucket.
Yeah, the water in the bucket. The water stays at the bottom of the bucket because you spin it.
So
we're on the outside of the bucket. Yeah. You silly.
Do you have the cap on? Where's the cap? Is that the atmosphere? Where the fuck? Oh, I must have sent it from the other mailbox. My work email.
What is it? I think it's tinfoil hat next, right?
Yes. All right. Tinfoil hat time. Been a while since we've done a tinfoil hat. All right. So this tinfoil hat subject was requested.
It's been requested a number of times
by one of our biggest fans.
And big meaning
big time fan.
He's tall.
Chews cat pee fruit gum.
He does. And he'll mean mug you the whole time you're in the gym. Not because he's really mean, but because he can't see for shit.
But this is we're going to talk about the QAnon. So he was talking about it and saying, you know, like, oh wow, computer works.
All right,
it's back.
Well,
I'll give it a second. It says transferring data from something. All right,
so how many times has a button been hit?
QAnon, like I'd heard about it and I'd seen some stuff, you know, posted, but I didn't think anything about it. I just figured it was, you know, someone that knew something that was, you know, posting stuff online or Twitter or whatever. So I looked, I gotta admit, like I looked into it, but it wasn't like
didn't capture you.
It wasn't this big onion, you know, like, oh, pull back all the layers, you know, look, here it goes. So, I mean, for anyone that know, the Wikipedia definition is Q is an online handle used on several image boards by presumably American pseudonyms poster claiming to have access to classified information involving the Trump administration and its opponents in the United States, and detailing a supposed secret counter coup against the alleged deep state. Mm-hmm. That's what the followers are. So there's a conspiracy theory. That's what they're saying, and it's called. They're under these names: the Storm and the Great Awakening, which I've seen a lot of stuff on that. Right, like you ever get nervous when you open a new tab and like it says previously closed? Like, ooh,
big black booties.
Yeah, whoops. But anyway, so I started looking at some of the other stuff, and I got this article on NY Mag, and this is. Anytime I read an article like this, which is titled "The Storm is the New Pizzagate, Only Worse," in which all the Pizzagate stuff we looked up, is ridiculous. And I even read a new article today about Pizzagate, and like, hey, what happened? What's up with this? What's up with this art, this strange art and stuff? And it's. To me, that's still legit. It's just been defrauded by the media so much that
I mean, you've marginalized anybody that talks about it and call them kooks.
Yeah, like so I see that when I read this article. So it says a new conspiracy theory called the Storm has taken the grimiest parts of the internet by storm. Like Pizzagate, the Storm conspiracy features secret cabals, a child sex trafficking ring led in part by the Satanic Democratic Party, and of course countless logical leaps and paranoid assumptions that fail to hold up under the slightest fact-based scrutiny.
And see, people that make claims like that, have they done the fact?
Yeah.
Like, what are they doing? Looking at Snopes?
Well, someone told me. Yeah. So it says, however, unlike Pizzagate, the Storm isn't focused on a single block of shops in D.C. or John Podesta's emails. It's much bigger than that. So this article just goes through and talks about how it's ridiculous and how. This guy on October 28th, this guy or girl named Q began posting a series of cryptic messages that I guess they had some sort of inside information that was classified and was releasing it, talking about how they're fighting deep state, this and that, and and so like I said, this article is like, he's the Q or the QAnon. Predicted that this was going to happen and this didn't happen, And now if you look on it, like a lot of the stuff that they're talking about is saying how the Russian collusion is all, fake and it's really investigating the Democratic National,
Right. It's a cover, right?
Yeah. So I got on the QAnon Twitter. Mm-hmm. Which, man, I guess I'm so skeptical of everything now. Mm-hmm. I'm like, is this really it, or is this a fake one? But
right. Is it legitimate QAnon? Has it been verified?
So I started going through it, and it says, like, on July 4th, it says, "Today as Patriots, we celebrate our independence." And it says, he's got a post here from one of those image boards. It says, "Disinformation is real. Disinformation is necessary. USMLNG1 false essay true. Why was this necessary? What questions were asked? Essay prior to essay events. Why is this relevant? Think mirror. Look there or here or there. Truth is behind you." Like,
right. I don't understand what fucking thing that's being said.
So a lot of them are like that. So
what's one of the it's one of the quatrains from Nostradamus.
So like this one says, "What do you see? Look closely." So I'm looking at this picture. I mean, I don't see shit. And I mean, I'm not trying to discredit QAnon, but so if it is an actual insider with intelligence, classified intelligence information that's leaking, I mean, what's the point of the leak?
What's the point of the
I mean, he's got legit pictures on here. He'll post pictures of, like, you know what I mean? Like reflections on phones that show, like, lamps from the Oval Office on Air Force One. So, I mean, I guess that,
it lends to his credential.
Yeah.
his legitimacy. So what's the point in hiding the
well, I don't know what the point of the cryptic release
being
of
cryptic.
like
Yeah, that's what
intelligence is. You know, like okay, like if that's really, I mean, some of it's coming true. Like so this one, it says matters of national security and Anons. See, I can't even read these though. It says Anons lawfag here re awan. Anons already figured this out. By I can add that I have suspected for some time that the state charges were just a delay tactic until the main indictments are unsealed. So then Donald Trump posts, our Justice Department must not let Awan and Debbie Washman Schultz off the hook. The Democratic IT scandal is a key to much of the corruption we see today. They want to make a plea deal to hide what is on their server. We're a server, really bad. I always think it's funny how Donald Trump's always in stuff with really bad. But he goes through and he posts all this stuff, but I get, you know, the guy that was talking about it, like I get like, yeah, okay, so they're going to bring down the deep state. Like, all right. But like what's the point of the horoscope? You know, like, hey, today we're going to do this or that. Like
cryptic.
If it's actually some kind of militant group that's doing work for the Trump administration to rid Washington out of, you know, all these satanic Democratic nationals or whatever you want to call them, Democratic socialists, or like what's that doing? Like the work itself should be good enough, right? Like, oh, hey, look, John Podesta was, you know, bathing in children's blood or whatever. And like he got right, you know, but saying it before it happens doesn't really do anything other than just releasing the news earlier, unless they're just trying to fight fake news. You know what I mean?
So
it's all.
I guess there could be a number of things, and I guess the idea of being cryptic about it is to maybe marginalize it in a way that, like, okay, yeah, you could read whatever you want to read into this, and then if the proof is in the pudding, right? Isn't that the saying? So if John Podesta and Hillary Clinton and all these people go to jail, then job done, right? Why do you have to go through all this? If you got proof of it, why do you need to go through all this other sidestepping and stuff like that? Are you trying to root out the top dog? I think you know who the top dogs are. I mean,
I was let down since I've been saying, or not let down. I don't want this to happen, but I've been saying, like, I feel like this country's headed towards civil war, right? Just because, I mean, you see the Portland,
the Antifa stuff,
the dude knocking the shit out of one dude, and then fighting and beating each other's sticks and stuff over a march, right? Like, hey, I don't like that guy. Well, I do. Well, fuck you. Eat shit. You know, here's a brick to the face.
A bunch of soccer hooligans.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean?
QAnon says there will be no civil war. Coordinated MSM hysteria designed to instill fear, change the narrative. North Korea is not advancing their weapons program. Coordinated MSM hysteria designed to instill fear, change the narrative. Fake news. So I don't know. So, but it's what's crazy is if you Donald Trump's like acknowledged QAnon,
right. He gives them thumbs up and stuff.
And I think if you click on QAnon, the QAnon Twitter comes up, and then President Trump comes up, and then Donald J. Trump comes up. So, I mean, you'd have to. I don't know.
I mean, it could be one of the people on the inside, right, and doing all this stuff. But here's the deal: is it to lend credence that he is an outsider? Is that the thing, or is it to say, look, guys, don't worry, we got your back, we're fighting for you? It's this because you said earlier, you said to me, and you said, what happened to Pizzagate? Because it was legitimate, right?
Yeah,
there was some legitimate shit going on there. And it. The minute that
crazy for believing that.
But the minute he got elected, what happened? It went away.
Oh, Trump, as soon as he got elected.
It went away.
I feel like it went away before. I mean, As soon as it came up and the dude walked in there with the rifle and did the investigation himself, that was the end of it, I feel like.
Really?
Because that was fake news.
I get, but I mean, as far as it being hot, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we even had that. We had that one woman on, maybe a month before the election, right?
One woman,
Sasha from Florida, and then we had the other Jenny. She was on, right?
Yeah.
And that was on really close to the election. And as soon as it really, I mean, to be honest, like once he was sworn in, it was really pretty much toast after that. There was nothing in the news. And then, they claimed that a lot of pedophile rings have been busted up, but you don't hear about it in the news, which is probably true, right? It seems to be the case.
Yeah, there's a lot lately, right?
Right. And so if that's the case, good on you, because that's what needs to happen. But a lot of people will justify like things like
so this one says up to over 40,000 indictments, lots of arrests coming up. Trust the plan. QAnon.
But that's it right there. Yeah. So read that right there. Read it again. Lots of indictments coming up.
40,000 indictments, lots of arrests coming. Trust the plan.
Trust the plan. Trust the plan. Trust us. Trust us. Trust us. Whenever, just show it then. Do it. Let's see it.
So do they have, does QAnon have the server, the Hillary Clinton server?
I
don't know, man.
So why would it be so hard to round that person up? Who's backing her?
Clinton?
Yeah. I mean, we know who's backing her, right? George Soros and all the same.
It's all the team that we're not on, right? Who's it?
George Carlin.
A big group. I'm reading all this stuff. Napoleon Dynamite posted something big on Friday. Just hearing some chatter. We'll see soon. This isn't Q, but this is Q me baby. The swamp is being drained. So this was when he said, QAnon said, James Baker fired, Lisa Page fired. Who are those people?
James Baker is the Secretary of Defense, wasn't he?
Was he? Thought General Mad Dog Mattis was.
That's Q.
That's him? Mm-hmm. I don't see him being very computer literate.
Well, he probably has his privates.
How do you work this digital camera on this thing? You just point it and press the button like a regular fucking camera. Yeah, you're going to have to come down here. I can't mess with this technology. I just can't do it.
No, that's what people want to say.
I guess, do they have like a key to... Like
decode it?
What's a USML NG1 false SA true? I don't know, anyway.
I guess you'd have to submerge yourself in the...
I feel bad because I can't give this as much attention as he's wanting us to give it. But it's like I have a hard time believing anything I read anymore. And then when I do read something that's I don't want to talk about that. But I don't know, unless I can see who it is, and even then I'm like, well, what's your purpose? Like, what do you want out of this? Like, what are you getting out of it?
That's the way you should approach everything. I mean, in my sense is that, especially when it comes to politics, like who stands to gain? And when you do that, you figure it out. Like,
hey, I'm going to tell you and only you this stuff. Why me? Well, so you know about it. Like, well, what's that gaining?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that way you know it. Yeah, but that's not helping the...
You remember George Webb?
Mm-hmm.
George Webb was on... No, he's not. I texted him the other day, see how he's doing. And he's still...
George Norrie. Norrie die? Or was it Art Bell?
Art Bell died. Yeah. No. You remember George Webb, right?
Yeah, I wasn't here for it, though. I was gone on vacation.
Oh, you were here. Oh. He thought we were a comedy show.
Oh, that's right.
Right?
Yeah,
he couldn't stop laughing.
The one that he was worried about his life a little bit, right?
Hell yeah. But he discovered a wand way before all of this. Way before the Wan brothers, all of it. He had it all.
Brothers.
Yeah,
That's
he had
like
it
a
all
painting
figured out.
company, isn't it?
They're the guys, the IT guys that did the whole the all the servers and all that stuff. They're the ones who control it. But or one of them was. He's figured that out a long time ago, and all that stuff that he put out. If you followed it, on a daily basis, if you followed all of
He's
his,
still putting it out.
yeah, he's still tracking it. Remember though, we wanted to have him talk about Pizzagate on here, and he was like, "I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it." And then he finally came around and was like, "Okay, I'll do it." He goes, "Unfortunately," he's like, "I did not want to go this way, and they was calling it the harvest of war."
Yeah.
Because that's what it was all about running the rat lines and being able to harvest all the kids from those areas, like in Haiti and all of in the war-torn areas that we were. And he's like, those were just ancillary benefits of doing that. You know, you're getting all the natural resources and you're harvesting all these organs from people, right?
Yeah.
For the controlling elite, and you're rounding up children that are orphaned, so then they can be used however you want to use them, sold however you want to sell them.
Some of the stuff, though, like I was watching a video the other day that was it was from Syria, and it was like, look, definitive evidence that kids are being harvested for their organs overseas, and it was this little kid, and he's put on this table, and they're saying they put him on an organ tray to cut out his organs while he's still alive, and like there's stuff in the video that I don't understand. Like they look like there's piles of, but it's also a war zone, right? Mm-hmm. But at the end, like I was like, that didn't look like a fucking organ pan to me. That looked like, one of those X-ray things you take at the chiropractor or whatever, right? So go to the comments, right? That's where you get the most out of any story anyway. And the comments are all like, I work in a hospital. I've worked there for 20-something years, and I can assure you that's not a tray, that's a X-ray. So then the guy that posted the video said, well, I don't know if that's a...
Oh, but he made the claim that it was definitive right off the bat.
And goes off of it. And that shit like that is detrimental to the job because people are so looking so hard to find something, right? Like, I want to believe that this is happening. They're avoiding things that are fucking weird,
And then completely
and trying to focus like that's this, and it's like, hey, that may not be. So let's.
Why don't you say this? Hey, look at this video and tell me what you think.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Nah, then
because it discredits, right?
Totally discredits.
And I don't know if that's disinformation set out on purpose.
Possibly.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But
they push that to give it.
I do feel like
traction.
A lot. I don't know if it's part of the. I stayed up till 1 last night. Sorry. I don't know if it's part of the whole Pizzagate thing or what, but like you're saying, like there's been all these, sex crime things, busts, human trafficking things happening. I don't know if it's tied to that or not, or if they're not going to release the fact that it is, so they can keep trying to catch people that are doing it. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know, all the catch who you're going to end up catching your own ass. You know what I mean?
Think about it like this, though. Whenever we look at the media, or do it like this. Think about a soap opera. If it were the same story over and over and over, you're not going to watch it. Mm-hmm. Eventually, it becomes, you're like, oh fuck, this is dumb. So what do they do in soap operas? Like the soap opera starts out, it's a lot about affairs and stuff like that, and sleeping around. Soon they got to introduce demon possessed people in order to get people to continue to watch this. You know what I mean? Like, or something completely outlandish, right? And then they'll pound that into the ground for a while, and then they move on. Just think about us, for instance. Police brutality, right? So it went from police brutality, right? Nonstop, and even in the mainstream media, right? Prior to us, or not prior to us, post us talking about it, it started to become bigger and bigger and bigger, right? A bigger story. And then now what? It's trailed off, right? Now they've got to move on to something else. And I mean, even in the underground circle, so Pizzagate was real big. It's like burns,
but it was never
burns,
big
right? Didn't ever make it in the mainstream media. Really, it got marginalized. But in the underground media, right, it burned real bright, and then it kind of just, or
Well,
never
there's some
took-
things that happened between there. There was the white nationalists, and America taken over by Nazis, and then removal of Confederate statues from states, and now we are. What are we on now? We're on.
I don't know. Well, we've
Russia.
We've had
is
the
Russia still
and
a
North
fucking
Korea.
issue, or is Mueller still looking around as fucking Donald Trump and? Is Putin related to Russia somehow? Like, there's definitely ties of Putin and Russia. I don't know. I mean, I know what you're saying, but it's like,
I think that's how it works, though, and I think then it's like they know that, so that if they can ramp it up as fast as possible, eventually people just
But
become like, oh,
wouldn't
it's fucking all just you
But
get
wouldn't-
disenfranchised by it.
if that was the case? If that was the case, freeze that gas in here.
Yeah.
If that was the case, though, wouldn't blowing open an international crime ring related to human trafficking and a wing of the political apparatus of the United States, wouldn't that be like
Big
rating
words.
central?
It would be great, right? But you don't want to. You also don't want to shoot the people who afford you the opportunity to report on it, right?
Yeah.
And that's where the money comes from, right?
That's what I'm saying when I said earlier. Like, you're gonna end up, catching your own ass. It's gonna be like a Scooby Doo cartoon, like, who did it? Oh, I did it.
I don't know, man. For me, it's like I said, I just got tired of talking about it.
Yeah.
I got tired of talking about all that stuff. I do like talking about this goes to a conversation I had with somebody today, but I do like talking about the weird stuff from, like origin stuff like that, like, ancient aliens and stuff. I enjoy that.
The fact that Titus and aliens were making vacuum chambers
they
in
had
55
showing
BC.
him vacuum chambers and saying, "Look, shit falls the same. Watch this."
Huh.
It just goes to show you that you're inside of some form of liquid, but it's not. It's a gas, but it could be a liquid at a different temperature. I don't know.
I'm getting sleepy.
Yeah.
Let's play a commercial real quick.
Okay. Listen to us on iTunes, Libsyn, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, and the podcast source. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, as you can catch us there weekly. Also, like and share our Facebook page. Check out our website at spearheadpodcast.com. You can get all of your Spearhead merchandise there. And like always, if you have hate mail, please send it to xspearheadx@yahoo.com. We always appreciate hearing from you. And thank you for your support, and enjoy the rest of the show.
Oh my God, Becky, look at her butt. It is so big. She looks like one of those rap guys' girlfriends.
All right, ode to women. So there's 5 things you didn't know about the skimpy 2-piece swimsuit. National Bikini Day, I guess July 5th.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
July 5th is National Bikini Day?
Yeah. It wouldn't seem like there's much
no
to know.
idea.
This is from FoxNews.com. It says it wouldn't seem like there's much to know about the bikini at first glance. It got a few strips of material, some kind of fastening element, and well, that's usually it. So, one thing I do want to know. So I was shopping for a swimsuit for my wife, which she should have never asked me to do that. But those fucking things are expensive.
That's crazy.
Like, I was looking at one, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool. Like, she'll never wear this, but I'll just buy it." And it was $109, and I was like, I thought that was the whole thing. I was just the bottoms, and then the top was another $60. I was like, $169 plus tax for a fucking bikini? Like, how much?
What's it made out of?
I mean, it wasn't even that. It wasn't even.
Wasn't like cutting edge.
I mean, I don't even know what. It wasn't like Louis Vuitton or whatever, some fancy Christian Dior or Old Spice model or something.
Drakkar Noir bikini.
It wasn't any of that, so I don't know why it was so expensive. And it was just like a red bikini. But I guess it was
Was it the one from Fast Times at Ridgemont High?
no, it had 90s flair to it though. It had the ridged fabric, vertical lines ridged on it, so it was like a Ruffles potato chip. And it was red.
Did it have the high cut?
Yeah, high cut hips. Ooh. And it had a tank top, which is not really what I think of, but it looked like it.
Did it have a big front though? I don't like the big front. That was one thing that I did not like from the, you know what I mean?
Fast Times at Ridgemont High,
or that even the '90s one that had
a lot of fabric like piled up on top of it.
Yeah. Like what's going on here?
Yeah.
Is it like how much bush are you trying to cover up there?
All right, so the first thing that you don't know about bikinis was that two different men invented the bikini around the same time. French fashion designer Jacques Haim?
Yeah.
Jacques Haim. And
Jacques Haim.
French automobile engineer Louis Réard, a clothing designer. 30 square inches of fabric. He also patented his design before Haim took off. So, the bikini name was meant to be shocking. It was originally his design. Haim had originally called his design the Atom in an effort to like the tiny garments design to the similarity of a tiny atom. And the other one was to match the name after the atomic testing site Bikini Atoll Island. Models didn't want to be associated with it. The designer claimed there's only one true test. True test of a bikini is if you can be pulled through a wedding ring. Think that can be pulled through a wedding ring?
No.
That's
we should try.
That's Emily Ratajkowski or whatever her name is.
Imrata.
Imrata. That sounds like a fighter.
Mm-hmm. From a video game.
Yeah. Similar swimmer dates back thousands of years, back to when the Romans were making vacuum tubes. That's it. I forgot what the fuck I posted.
Just because of that picture?
That may have been it. I'm not sure. You know, one thing, I did have another article on here.
They're playing volleyball back in those days.
They look like they're not having any fun.
No.
Have you ever tried to... Any artist on here will know what I'm talking about. So if you try to draw like this, I can't do it.
Like that old...
Like shitty. Like, hey, I want to make...
call it good?
Yeah.
Like they were just... Whoever drew this was like, that's fucking perfect.
Yeah, they were really trying hard. And, I mean, people are like looking up at the sky. They look like someone drew their eyebrows on with crayons and... You know what
Everybody
I mean?
looks like they have dudes' faces back then.
But if you try to draw like that, if I tried to draw like that, I could not draw like that. This one's got a fucking high cut hem for roundhouse kicks.
Uh-huh. That's exactly. She looks like that fighter from Bloodsport.
Yeah. Yeah. Paco.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, one other thing on here. So it said Facebook had found hate speech in the Declaration of Independence, right? So this place, let's see what it is. It's from FoxNews.com.
They censored it, huh?
Yeah, it said Facebook's algorithms are in the spotlight after the social network tagged an excerpt from the Declaration of Independence as hate speech. Liberty County Vindicator in Liberty, Texas, has been posting excerpts from the documents to its Facebook page leading up to Independence Day. So it didn't have any issues with the first 9 posts, but it did on this one because this is what it said. The offending excerpt, which details a long list of transgressions committed by King George III, contained the following passage. He has excited domestic insurrections against us and has endeavored to bring on the inhabitants of our frontiers, the merciless Indian savages who known rule of warfare is an indistinguished destruction of all ages, sexes, and conditions. So this triggered Facebook's
Indian savages, huh?
filtering algorithm, right?
Does it change it?
No, so what I was
Native
thinking,
Americans.
So here's what I was thinking. So that's in the Declaration of Independence, right? You know, they're pulling down statues of Confederate, leaders and generals and shit, and hey, so and so who had slaves, and this and that. So and so said this back in the 1800s, like pulled a statue down. I want to go on record right now and ask, how long until you think
that we rewrite?
Yeah, like, wait, we got to change this.
Orwell was spot on, dude, when he said this. Orwell was spot on. It will happen. So it will happen whenever we've got to change this, we've got to change it. He was spot on when he talks about it in 1984, how he says that you got to go back and change a phrase where bad equals good equals bad, and because you can't upset the balance, right?
So it says, perhaps had Thomas Jefferson written it as Native Americans at a challenging stage of cultural development that would have been better, the managing editor quipped. Unfortunately, Jefferson, like most British colonists of the day, did not hold entirely friendly views of Native Americans. So why can't people, when they read that and know that, like, well, at the time, the guys didn't like each other, right?
Yeah.
So... or not all of them,
right?
So why would that be written any differently? Like, can you not look at it and read it and think like, oh, that's this many years old? So
I wonder if we look back and like you go into Germany, right? And you look back and whenever they talk about barbarian hordes, like the Germanic tribes that that's offensive to be called a barbarian horde, right? Like of that those. I think Celtic, whatever they call them, savages, probably at the same time.
Offensiveness or being offended is like going to be just the reset button on the simulation, because it's going to be everyone and everywhere and everything is so offensive to someone. I mean, you cannot.
Well,
I heard someone complaining about fireworks. And then there's people, just what we're saying. He was saying, like, permits. I think we should have the right to have a night of silent sleeping time as opposed to fireworks. Like, come on, man.
Well, here's the thing. Like, let's think about it.
I'm offended.
It goes. This speaks to like another issue, right? So it goes the same way, though, right? Like, so we should look at people that are Native American and be like, are you really offended by that, right? Today, are you offended by what was written then about that today? And if they're a logical person, they'd be like, no, I'm totally not offended by that. That was context, the timing, right? And also they don't claim that either. That, like, okay, yeah, that was part of my genetic heritage. It's not who the fuck I am. It's just like people that do the same thing today, like, oh, well, my great-grandpa was George Washington Carver, and he invented peanut butter. What the fuck does that make you? Nothing. Yeah. You didn't do shit, right? Like, who are you? Oh, well, my grandpa or my great-uncle was Grover Cleveland, the president of the United States 2 times. Who gives a fuck? What are you? What did you do? And so if you try to live off of that past glory of some kind of genetic heritage, then the same thing is that then I guess you can claim to be offended by shit that you're past this, being called savages. Not really. It's the same. It goes both ways.
Did you use Cro-Magnon in a derogatory term? Because I used to be fucking caveman.
It's the same thing.
I really feel like I've said it before.
Like, judge me for me. Like,
well, that and like, dude, you can only be offended by things that you allow yourself to be offended by. Like,
right?
People have said shit to me that I don't agree with, and I'll just be like, I mean, all right, what the fuck, I mean, it's not like you're forcing me to do something or,
right? You're not holding me to that, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you look at me and you're like, oh, fuck, he's a savage.
Well, that, or if I was like, hey,
less than
Mike, call so-and-so a savage Indian. Like, no, I don't want to. No, you call him a savage Indian.
Yeah.
Like, I could see, like, okay, that's a fucking problem.
Yeah.
But, hey, Mike, look, this piece of parchment from back in the day calls Tyrannosaurus Rex a fucking lizard god.
Uh-huh.
You know, like, yeah, they didn't know.
Right.
You know,
Right.
what the fuck? I mean, what do you expect?
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
That was a bad example, but
I got you though. It's the times.
yeah.
I guess
people,
but if you're taking,
people wrote positive things about fucking Genghis Khan, you know, or the Mongols, like probably not because of at the time frame, you know, like I'm
they
sure
were
there's people
savages.
fucking anyone that hated each other or was fighting isn't writing good shit about the other people.
Probably not. I guess
they
they're
aren't as advanced or progressive as we are now in the world.
But then if that's the case, though, like I guess where I was going with when I went with that is or what I was saying was, if you're going to be offended by it, right, then it goes to show you what kind of person you really are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're going to sit there and dwell on shit like that, then you're lost. You're lost as to you're living in some kind of you want to be hurt by it.
Well, I think a
you
lot of
wanna
people do
claim
want to be
that.
hurt. A lot of people do want to have something to say, like, "Oh, well, this affects me somehow." Like, no, it doesn't. It does not. I mean, you are allowing yourself to be influenced by people that say you should be, bothered by something that shouldn't. I mean,
Yeah, then that's the same people
If that
that are
fucking-
they're taking pride in something that somebody else has done because they're somehow related to them in the past.
The Declaration of Independence referred to all whites as mega crackers, like those fucking firecrackers I lit off. Like, well, at the time, that's what we were called was mega crackers. I don't know. Anyway,
We will be called mega crackers.
that sounds like a robot fighting machine. Oh shit! They
Break out
deployed
the
mega cracker.
cracker.
That's my robot or my GoBot noise.
All right, I'm done.
Yeah, me too. I'm tired. Anyways, all right. So if you're new to the podcast, stick around. Give us $1. If you're if you're old, you can listen for free. Make sure and like and share our Facebook
Grandfathered in.
page. Yeah. Check and see if you like the Facebook page because a lot of you guys are commenting on there, and I know some of you are like share the episode and they come out and are real involved, and it says invite to like your page. It says so and so really is invite them to like your page to get more clicks. So I don't know if it's just a fluke or what.
That's the old people on Facebook. They don't know how to use it. Or
so make sure and like and share the Facebook page. Email us at xspearheadx@yahoo.com if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. And
you can also get it on YouTube still too. This goes to YouTube directly.
I had to upload directly now to my Facebook. It goes directly to your Facebook, and it goes to the podcast Facebook. So and the YouTube.
And the YouTube.
Yeah.
And Libsyn.
Yeah. It seemed like all those other podcast sources and stuff, they don't get many downloads from. I don't know what.
You could go on TuneIn and you can get it. It'll give you the the TuneIn. There's so many apps out there. There's so many places that you can get it now too, and we don't have to submit it there. It just goes. I don't know how it happens. It's magic. Probably those Indian savages.
Exactly. Oh shit! I had the GoBot command center. I didn't know this was GoBots.
What is that? Alarm clock?
Did you have that thing?
No.
I did.
It was a GoBot command center.
Yeah.
Doubled as an alarm clock.
What the fuck are the other ones called? Transformers. Yeah.
GoBots didn't make that noise when they transformed, did they?
Oh, I'm trying to do that.
To be honest, GoBots were shit.
Yeah. I had that big thing though.
They're like generic Transformers. GoBots, straight from Dollar General. The fuck is that?
Where's the sound where they change? This is all new stuff.
I don't know what's going on. I can't see.
You know that noise that
Yeah, the Transformers, not GoBots.
Hold on. Maybe this is it.
No.
Dude, it's not
Autobot.
Mandela effect, is it? Like, they made that noise when they changed.
Yeah. No. You just got to look at 80s Transformers sound. I don't know. This is not. That sounds like Soundwave.
People right now are losing their mind. Optimus Prime just running over people.
For real? Like people or robots?
He's changed twice now. It hadn't made that noise.
In the cartoon.
You credit as special vocalizations by Peter Cullen. How did that happen and what was that like to do?
I had just done 11 reels of King Kong. And me being here. Sir Trace each when I further.
Dude.
Now this is a mission.
It's horrible, yeah. Wait, maybe this is it.
There it is.
There, yeah,
that was it.
That wasn't what I was thinking, but I thought it sounded different.
You thought it sounded more?
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. That's all I got.
Adios, muchachos.
Accessing your mind. Programming started. Thank you for listening to the Spearhead Transmission. We know you enjoyed your experience. Please come again and partake in our ridiculousness. There is so much more to explore. Remember, your mind is yours. You are not part of a collective. You will start to think independently if you seek the truth. Stop buying the lies. Water that tree of liberty, and you will break those chains of mental slavery. You are beautiful and heroic. Until next time, goodbye.